But okay, that worked. Okay, so I got 30 bucks in my Polymarket
Good.
account. So why don't we try this out? We can actually try to connect to Polymarket. So I'm going to get another agent here. Okay, so I would like to add Polymarket as an option into Lumibot. This is probably a fairly large undertaking, so you need to definitely do your research thoroughly. You need to understand the Polymarket API very well. You need to understand how Lumibot works very well, how we send orders, get positions, and all that kind of stuff. I think it should fit into our framework pretty easily because I mean, at the end of the day, what are these prediction market orders? They're basically just orders, positions, account values, which is all the kind of stuff that we actually support. Um, I wonder if there's some other things we got to do. Maybe we have to make a new asset class or something like that, because we eventually want to add in some of the other ones too, like Kalshi or Predict It. And there's a bunch of other ones too, but Polymarket's the biggest one. So we're going to start with that, but we'll eventually want to add the others as well. So we want to do a full review of how this could all work. Are there any like structural issues that we're going to have here, or like how would you go about doing this? Please read through how the other brokers are structured. Kind of the gold standard is Alpaca and Tradier. Those are probably built the best out of any other broker connection that we have. So those are the gold standards of how they should be structured and all that. I think we even have like example brokers that we could start with. Like there's like templates or something that you could even start with for how to add in a new broker. I think we have some files for that. That's like a base broker file. And then there's the data source, right? There's a data source, which is the one that should be getting all the data. There's specific things that we want a data source to do. I think this is pretty well documented as well. And there's a broker side, which is, actually trading and all that. And I think it also does account values and positions and orders. I think that's also on the broker side. But please make sure you research this deeply, go through all the documentation, how this should be structured. Take a look at how the templates of brokers are structured. Please understand how the Polymarket API is structured as well. And then put together a really nice, full out um, game plan on this, right? Like how, like make a good markdown file, like very well researched and detailed of how we can get all this stuff done. All right. So please go ahead, do that research. Make sure you document this very well. Don't change any code yet. We just need to do a lot of planning around this first. And let's talk about, how do we connect to Polymarket through their APIs and all that.
By the way, this is just an aside, but Interactive Brokers actually has their own prediction market. Um,
Yeah, a lot of them have it now.
yeah.
Like Tradier's adding it. I saw that Interactive Brokers has it. I actually saw it the other day. Um, Also Coinbase has it. We just logged in and I saw that Coinbase has it too.
Mm,
So it seems like a lot of brokers have it now. So it's definitely not a novelty anymore.
yeah. But just in terms of um, one less thing to have to do, right? If the broker already has it, then you can just, you only have to hook into the broker.
Um, Sort of. I mean, like with interactive brokers, it'll de almost for sure be a lot more difficult. Interactive
Oh,
brokers is just such a pain to work with.
yeah.
Like
Yes.
adding any feature there is just like a nightmare.
Yes, I
Um,
know.
yeah. And then for Coinbase, yeah, yeah, I think you know the feeling, right? Um,
Exactly.
yeah. We're gonna be adding it to BotSpot soon, by the way. So we'll have it as a broker available on BotSpot.
Mhm.
Because it is a very popular broker, despite the technical challenges. But we already have it built out, so we're going to be adding that in, and then yeah, and then we could do it for Coinbase as well. But the thing is, with Coinbase, we do it through CCXT. So if we want to get the full features of Coinbase, we'd probably have to rebuild that whole connection from scratch. So that's another thing there. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I personally think probably connecting to Polymarket would probably be the easiest way, actually, despite the fact that all these brokers have it. Maybe when Tradier adds theirs in, or if Alpaca adds theirs in, that might be easier because we have like direct connections to them and they have really good APIs. But I think right now probably Polymarket is the simplest way for us to add this. That's what I think. Let's see if we can knock this out pretty quickly because they have a really good API, they have really good data, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like we could probably get this up and running pretty quickly. Maybe by the end of this session, we might be able to be like placing trades and stuff. That'd be pretty cool. No?
Yeah,
I think having Polymarket as a quote unquote broker would be awesome. I guess they technically are a broker, right? Okay, cool. So we got that running. In the meantime, while that's doing its research, here is our AI trading team. So we have Ray Dalio at the top of the list, right? This is a 1 year window, best long window result. 27% total return, only a 6% max drawdown. That is very good, right? Deployable baseline logic. Okay, so baseline logic. Okay. Best version was deployable baseline logic. Ray Dalio diversified basket variant. Yeah, so that's the non-diversified Ray Dalio one that did really well over this time period. And then when we got a diversified basket, it only did 14% for the year. But I still don't think that we ran the leveraged. Yeah, so this thing ran the leveraged ETF variant, but it did not listen to the actual leveraged ETF thing, right? So presumably this 14% for the year could actually be a hell of a lot better if we included the leveraged ETFs. So theoretically, this should be something like double or triple this return if we actually got it to use leveraged ETFs properly. Okay, and there's the old imported baseline. And then we have the bull bear, and then these are all negative. Yeah, the Citadel one was doing really well over a 6 month time period, but for some reason, 12 month just killed it. Okay, so I think a couple things we got to do is first of all, this Ray Dalio one. I want it to actually work properly with the leveraged ETFs. So how can we change it to make that actually work? And then the Citadel one, I thought did a lot better over a shorter time period. So why did it do so poorly over a longer time period? And I also seem to only see one successful long-term Citadel backtest. So we need to figure out how to get the other ones to work because I thought those were doing pretty well until I guess they failed. So my predisposition is to get the Citadel and the Ray Dalio ones working really well because were our best results. But they need to be working properly with leverage ETFs, not failing, and all that sort of jazz. So we need to figure out how to get all those working. What do you think we should do for each of those? And then what else would you guys want to look at here? I think our strongest ones are the Ray Dalio and the Citadel. Those seem to be our strongest ones. And they're both kind of the same sort of thing. One of them is like looking at macro conditions for Ray Dalio. It's like looking at, where are we at in terms of actually, I don't even know if it's doing that. I think it's actually maybe just looking at. And then the other thing that we talked about as well is the Ray Dalio and Citadel versions. We ran them where they actually have access to like Federal Reserve data. Um, we don't need, I guess, Federal Reserve data. We don't have to. Actually, I guess Lumibot, we have to do it with a Fred key, which I think we do have, and then an Alpaca API key as well for the news. Right? So I think we would need to figure like are those working as well? Because the Ray Dalio one actually needs to look at macro conditions. So getting access to Fred is actually quite important. So was that working or not? And then same thing with Citadel. Was it working with the Federal Reserve stuff and the SEC and the news stuff? Was that all working properly or not? Or is that another thing that we have to fix as well? Because the Ray Dalio one I know was doing like this idea meritocracy and all that, but it didn't have access to like Ray Dalio typically would look at like debt to GDP ratios and what's happening to interest rates and all that kind of stuff. Like he looks at that stuff pretty closely. So I think it's pretty important to have that working as well, right? And I think Citadel would similarly look at things like that too. So I think that's pretty important. Anything else that you guys would want to look at here? We seem to have failed a lot of back tests, so I think there's some sort of issue that we got to deal with. Yeah, we hit the Gemini token limit. I think that's this bug that we got to fix. Anything else you guys want to look at with all these? Okay, so I'll get Codex to start looking into this, and then we have Polymarket going. Polymarket. And then, by the way, guys, I've been thinking lately that maybe we could even live stream our sessions that we do here on Tuesdays. How do you guys feel about that? Does anyone have any strong objections to that? So we're already getting recorded and all that, so there are other people seeing this, but I just want to make sure that you guys are all fine with us live streaming. So this way, maybe we
Yeah,
could get more people involved.
yeah, I think I mean, I actually think it's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay.
You
Well,
might get, I mean, um, it might increase your visibility, right? I mean, that's the idea.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we do a lot of really interesting stuff here, and we post clips of this and whatever, but it would be really cool to have the live stream going too, and then we'll see if we get interest from other people and all that kind of stuff. So I think that that could add a good amount of value, right?
Mm.
Okay, so yeah, because I was trying to do that and it wasn't working. Okay, what I fixed confirmed. Current blocker Chrome now has passkey prompt. Okay, let's see if we can get this thing to work. I logged into the wrong account. So I logged in, but that didn't seem to work. I don't know if you're trying to go to the wrong account or something, because you were logged into my personal account, which is not what I want to stream to. I'd want to stream to our Lumi Wealth YouTube or maybe even our BotSpot YouTube. Either one of those would be good. But this didn't seem to work if you look at the screenshot. Close that, and then we can close this. And Polymarket, there we go. Okay. And then I think I owe Zoom some money, so maybe that's why it's not working, but let me look into that here. It's crazy how much we're paying for all of our software and stuff. We have to figure out how to lower those bills a bit. Okay, let's see. What are they asking for? Maybe this is the reason why. Yeah. It's a steep Zoom bill. I'm gonna, in the meantime, just because it's a little crazy that I have to pay Zoom $140 a month for some reason. Just gonna have my agent look into this a little bit too. Can you please investigate why my Zoom bill was so high the last month? And can we expect the same bill for the next month as well? Or is there some way that we're gonna reduce this? Because I think the main reason why is for storage costs, but I thought we moved everything off of Zoom. Yeah, it's $114 just for the storage fee. Um, are we still paying that overage charge? Like you could look at Zoom in my browser if you need to in Chrome, but I really like to make sure I don't pay that 114 overage charge next month. Can you please look into that? There's a really easy way to reduce your bills. Just get Codex to look into this stuff. It's like, why is my Zoom bill $140 a month? You know, it's a little ridiculous. Okay, and we have this one, this one. There's the live stream. Let's see, will this work? You do not have permission to live stream. No. Okay, why? Okay, and then Polymarket came back. Okay, let's see what it said about Polymarket. Done. I researched Lumibot's broker data source contracts, alpaca trader patterns, example broker templates, and the current Polymarket API split, then wrote the commit doc. Key recommendation, add a first-class prediction contract asset type. Implement Polymarket data for market order book data. Implement a Polymarket broker for balances, positions, order lifecycle, polling, WebSocket updates, and start with Polymarket US as a practical first path while leaving room for the international CLOB path later. So am I on Polymarket US or not? So I can't really tell if I'm on Polymarket US or not, first of all. Is there some way they could tell from the website here? Like you can access it from my Chrome browser if you need to through the Codex extension. But yeah, can you check that? Because I'm not so sure that I have access to Polymarket US. This might, because I deposited with crypto and I actually had to use a VPN to say that I'm in Greece. So I don't know if I'm on Polymarket US or not. It's pretty cool how fast it was doing this Bitcoin. Like you could actually like watch it move. This is actually really fun to watch. Look at this. This is pretty crazy. Cool. I didn't know this was so interactive. This is very fast. We definitely want WebSockets for this. So we definitely want WebSockets for this because it seems like some of these trades are happening incredibly fast. Um, and then can you research everything else and put together like a really thorough and well-researched game plan? I don't feel like we've fully researched everything in that much detail yet. So if you could fully research everything in detail, make sure we've covered everything, and then give me a very well-researched game plan of what you think we should do and how we could accomplish this whole connection to Polymarket. We probably should get you an API key fairly soon. We see how